Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Cancer in mid-May 2019. Whoa, look at that. You had a little flippy flip in the middle of your deck. You had the Moon card, Cancer. So some of you might have a Pisces in your life of significance. If not, you're just in a time of mystery, in a time of uncertainty, in a time where or something in your life, either a time or a situation in your life is just really like full of murky or muddied energy. Also might be a little bit of fantasy involved, might be some illusions or delusions involved in something, either on your part or on the part of someone else. But things are just not clear, not bright and sunshiny. They're actually overcast with the moon, kind of blurry, okay? So anyway, hi Cancer, how are you? I hope you guys are doing well. Okay guys, welcome to your mid-May messages. I've shuffled it off camera to save time. That's your main spread there. We'll shuffle now for your outcome and your overall energy. Once all the cards are out and they're lined face up, that's when the reading begins. In the description box below will be the timestamp if you want to jump ahead. Also down there is the information you need if you want to get a personal reading with me, which I have been suggesting to people to do, as come June 1st, the price for that particular reading will go up. I'll introduce two different types of readings to the channel to kind of offset that. But if you want to get my most in-depth reading for its cheapest price, you may do so before June 1st, okay? Ooh, and another slightly obtrusive card, Hangman. Wow, okay, so somebody's really dealing with a Pisces, or there's some significant Piscean energy in your life, Hangman. Having to be in a position to kind of let go, or be in a position to kind of be open to seeing a different perspective, to viewing a situation from a different set of eyes or a different standpoint, okay? So, I feel some heavy work going on for you, Pisces. See, I almost said it again. Cancer, excuse me. All right, so let's go ahead and get you guys an outcome, all right? You've had quite an introduction. I feel a little interrupted, if I'm honest. I was like really into the meditation, then I turn on the camera and it's like, oh, there's a card flipped in the middle. Oh, here's the Hangman. So I'm like messing up my flow. Not you, but energetically, like the flow is like a little, like intercepted, okay? Anyway, Cancer, let's go ahead and get you guys an outcome, shall we? Outcome for Cancer in mid-May, please. Outcome for Cancer in mid-May. Whoa, was that a flip? Yes, wow. All right, bottom of the deck is the overall energy. Boy, oh boy. What are you dealing with, my friends? It's going to flip this last card. Oh, well, okay. Cancer. Let's get into it, shall we? Please show me Cancer's prominent energy in mid-May. Please show me Cancer's prominent energy in mid-May. Please show me. Okay, right here. Okay. All right, Cancer, coming into mid-May, you come in with the Six of Pentacles in reverse. So who's out of balance here? You or them? And it really, for many of you, feels like a you and them situation. You and another person, regardless of whatever relationship type we're talking about, whatever your interaction is. I do feel it's a me and this other person, you and them, okay? So things have been out of balance, out of whack. Okay, somebody has been paying either not enough attention to the situation or circumstance, or too much attention to the situation or circumstance. Regardless of whether we're doing too much or too little, the idea is imbalance. The idea is we're not serving equilibrium, right? We're not facilitating equilibrium. And I'm saying we. So again, you or the other person. If you're the one who's doing too much or too little, you're not serving the equilibrium, and the other person, whether they is not serving it either, because they're taking too much. If you're giving too much, they're taking too much. If they're giving too much, and if you're taking, then they're pushing out too much. There's like fault on both sides, essentially, is what I'm feeling here. Someone is not even someone. There's a lack of boundary here. Okay? Because that's the other thing with equilibrium. Like, we have struck a balance. We've reached a point of where the energy flow is tipped the exact right way, and then we kind of like have the balance of it. You know what I mean? Like, there's no question on who needs to do what, or who has to step up where, or who is providing what to a relationship and who is taking what from a relationship. Like, it all might fluctuate at times, you know, ideally in a relationship. You might see fluctuation. So, you know, to me, a relationship is never a standard 50-50. You get 50, I get 50. That's not true, because we all have days, right? So it'll go 70, 30. Then it'll go 45. I'm bad at math. 45, 55, right? Is that good math? Yes, I did it. You know, something like that. So the percentages or the energy flow will fluctuate. But here, there's no fluctuation. There's no standard, or, like I said, boundaries in this relationship, boundaries in this exchange. I feel that the energy is haywire. It comes at weird times. There's bursts of intent, or there's bursts of attention, there's bursts of effort, and then there's none. Or there's a constant flow, but the flow goes nowhere because someone's not receiving it. There's no receptacle. There's no openness to receive. So I don't know what side you're on, Cancer. Y'all might switch sides. When you're giving and trying your best, they're not receiving. When they're giving and trying their best, you're not receiving. You both might swap places, but this shit is out of whack. And I'm not a fan, because I'm feeling not irritated, or maybe I'm feeling irritated in a way that a Cancer would feel irritated, where, you know, I'm a Leo, so when I'm irritated, God help you. When a Cancer is irritated, or what I'm feeling, or what I think might be when the Cancer is irritated, is I feel irritated, but I'm not really saying much about it. Or my expression is not forceful, or it's not noticed, okay? So maybe, you know, I hate to lump you guys into this stereotype, but I do feel there's like that stereotype of Cancer's meekness coming out of you right now, where you retreat into the shell, where you don't, you know, come up out of yourself and say what is displeasing you. Instead, you swallow it up. Instead, you stuff it down and you shove it back in, and you shove yourself back into your shell, instead of coming out and saying, you know what the fuck is wrong with me, what's going on in this situation? Here's what's going on in this situation. Like, someone, if it's not you, it's the other person, is just not putting their foot down, and they're not really drawing, there we go, again, with the boundaries. They're not drawing a finite line in the sand. You're giving too much to me. That overwhelms me. All of your intentions, all of your energy, all of your well wishes, all of this is too much for me. I don't need that. Or you're not doing enough. I'm like trying to pull blood from a stone dealing with your ass. Something like that. Someone is not putting down the law when it comes to what is dissatisfactory to me, or what is dissatisfactory involving this entire situation. So there's a lack of clear-cut lines here, and that's how I feel, or that's allowing this energy and this connection and the flow between the two of you to be so haphazard and to be so willy-nilly, haywire, just out of proportion or out of control, you know? So God help you, I don't know what you're going to do with that, because all around you, you have this very difficult, if not adversarial energy. Now, when I say energy, it can be embodied in a person, or it can be embodied in a situation involving several people. It can just be energy coming down from the universe or from the cosmos, or if you're into the astrological standpoint of this, I don't know what's going on in astrology right now, but that might be influential here, you know, based on your birth chart, based on someone else's birth chart, you know, whatever's going on with Pluto right now, just arbitrarily I'm saying this, or Mars right now, whatever's going on could give you these energies that are interfering or making it so much more difficult to get a result that you or the other person, or both of you together, might desire, whether that be some type of union, coming to an understanding, or a total dissolvement of something. It's going to go either way for you, but this heavily is involving relationships, romantic or otherwise. Some of you want things to work out. Others of you want to get the hell out of Dodge. And no matter what you desire, I feel there's blockages to it, or, like I said, adversarial, challenging energy that's in your way. Why do I say that? You've got this damn Ten of Swords right here. Now, Ten of Swords is that overkill card in my estimation. 10 swords in the back is overkill. You really only need like 2 or 3 to really hurt somebody or kill them. But to put 10 in, oh man, you really meant that shit. So this is a problem. Someone feels betrayed. Someone feels left for dead. Someone feels stabbed in the back. Someone feels as if they don't have answers. They don't have closure to a situation, or they don't have a resolution to a situation. Other people feel that they're very much taken advantage of, that they are being abused or misused or taken for granted. You know, so some of you, God, it's a lot. Regardless, this 10 is not indicating the closing up, which sometimes they can. Like, I feel the 10s are both the rising up to and the boiling over of, and then the resettling of energy, or the resettling of a situation. I feel that this is building up to like a more explosive point for many of you. Not all, but for many of you, this is building up to like an intense, like, pinnacle point, okay? So because this is going on, or because I feel that this situation is ongoing. If this is a romantic, are we together, are we not together? You're in this weird hemming and hawing, you know, we're having sex, we're seeing each other, but we're not exclusive. Or we're exclusive, but you're still talking to your ex. Or there's some mismanagement of someone else's feelings, of somebody else's sensibilities, or the sensibilities and the goals that you share together. That's a problem. For others, this is I need to get out of this situation, regardless if it's romantic or not, and someone is reluctant to let it go. Yeah? And the persistence of whatever situation you're in is bringing you to this 10 of Swords part, Cancer. If not you, the other person, right? And what do I mean? It's bringing them to the point where they're like almost over it. They're almost to the point of they can't take another hit. They can't take another moment of pain, or another day of feeling inadequate, or another day of feeling as if they don't have someone that has their back, or they have someone who is too smothering, too involved in their life, too interested in them romantically, something like that. Whatever is too much, we're almost to the point of where it is too much. You know what I mean? Like, there's, you know, and that's the thing about Cancer. Y'all take a lot. So I understand where, and that is, I think, indicated here with that Six of Pentacles in reverse. You allow your boundaries to be bent. Like how I can bend this card like that. I don't want to bend it too much because I still like this deck. But you see, like, it's a straight line, but then with Cancer, you can just constantly bend those limits without breaking them. So this 10 is leading to more bending, not a break. And if it is leading to a break, good for you. But I feel it's mostly going to lead to more bending. Now, are you going to put up with that? Probably. For many of you, you will. But I don't think that you should, because thank you, pick it back up. Because like I was saying, the other part of the 10 is a culmination point, the boiling over, and then the resettling of energy, or the boiling over of a situation, and then it calms and it goes into something else, right? A completion, yeah? That's ideally what we want when we get to the 10. Not a reset as if to go back to start, but a reset as in let's start a whole new game, a whole new chapter, right? That is ideally what I think any of you in this situation would want. Whether you want to get into something with someone and make it serious, or get out of something and be released, whatever you want. You want that reset. You want the energy to start over, to start anew, to start fresh, to feel less burdened, less hurt, less left for dead, okay? But if you don't affirm your boundaries, if you don't put your foot down, if people don't express where their limits are, how they felt betrayed, or how they feel they're being burdened with too much affection, too much love, too much expectation, or too many expectations, whatever your situation is, if that's not clearly understood by everybody involved, we're just going to persist in this. So you need to express yourself, or the other person needs to express themselves and say, listen here, this is where the goalpost is. This is where the boundary lies. If you extend over that boundary, then this is over. Or if you extend over this boundary, then we need to, shit or get off the pot in terms of, making a commitment, getting married, entering into some type of agreement, or entering into some, agreed upon non-monogamous, ethically non-monogamous thing, which a lot of people are into these days, okay? So, but people are playing games around here. You are the other person. And listen, this is a general reading, okay? It's going to go either way. Not all Cancers are saints, and not all Cancers are badass little devils, okay? So whoever's playing games, it might be you, might be the other person, own your shit if it's you. But somebody's playing games here. Somebody is doing a lot of rope-a-dope, talking their way out of mess, talking their way out of cheating, you know, in all aspects, not just like romantic cheating, you slept with someone else, or you know, kissed someone else, or I found flirty text. It's not just that, but cheating in the sense of dishonesty, in the sense of beguiling somebody, in the sense of just not being truthful. So instead of saying cheating, I should say it that way. Someone's not being truthful and they're trying to wiggle their way out of it. Or someone is like, you know, for some of you, again, pick your side. If the goalpost is here, where my hand is right now, and someone has been operating on that, somebody, unbeknownst to the other person, goes, oh, the goalpost is now here. And you're like, well, wait a minute. 2 weeks ago, it was down here. Two weeks ago, you said these were the limits, or these were the boundaries, or these were the goals that we were working towards. And now you say it's up here? What? So somebody is manipulating, thank you, manipulating a situation, manipulating their words, or manipulating the communication between you two, or the relationship between you two, to suit their needs, because that's what the Five of Swords is all about, right? Pardon me. The Five of Swords is all about, I need to win at all costs, even if it is for the sake of, or at the detriment of this relationship, or at the detriment of this reputation that I have, or this aspect of my personality. Like someone might sell themselves up the river, or cuts their nose to spite their face. You know what I mean? It's like a unnecessary self-sacrifice, or an unnecessary, you know, loss on their part, just for the sake of trying to win in the long run. Or, you know, caring more about winning the battle and not winning the war, okay? All those analogies apply. And whoever's doing that, man, one, they're being kind of stubborn. They're being really fixed in their position. They're being uncompromising. They're uncompromising. They see the situation one way, and that's the way it is. You know, they're being very black and white about it. Or indignant. Thank you. That's a good word. Some are just being indignant about it. Like they feel they don't owe you anything, or you feel you don't owe them anything, or the situation hasn't been beneficial to them so far, so why should they do XYZ for you, or vice versa, you know? And so there's this feeling of being owed, and until someone gets what they're owed, they're not going to play fair. There we go. That's very good. So because someone feels a situation has not served them, hasn't given them a benefit, hasn't come up in their favor, however you want to think about it, oh, now I'm going to roll up my sleeves and I'm going to play dirty now to get what I want. You see what I mean? So someone feels not happy with how things are going, and because they're not happy, misery loves company. There you go. All the different ways you can say that, okay? So now you end up with this World card. Oh, Lord, what's this? I mean, this is what you want, whether you know it or not. Okay, the World card. Oh, man. Oh, my God, I'm having a blank here. I'm having a blank. Saturn? I'm having a blank. Capricorn, isn't it? Yes. I'm having a brain fart. I'm apologizing. I'm having a tarot brain fart. So the World card is associated with Saturn, yes. And I believe Saturn, yeah, is the ruler of Capricorn. For some reason, I was thinking Neptune, and that is totally not it. There we go again. That's why I was thinking Neptune, because all that Pisces stuff that came out for you earlier. Okay, that makes sense. All right, World card. So associated with Capricorn, also associated with the fixed signs, Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, and Aquarius, but you don't have to be dealing with any of those signs. It's really just to give you a little insight on tarot if you don't know these things already. So World card is about completions, chapter endings, ending certain phases or stages in your life and moving on to the next thing. You know what I mean? It's a transitional card. It is a card also to deal with life lessons or karmic lessons. And for you, Cancer, that might be true. Some of you might be in the middle of learning a karmic lesson. You know, Saturn is a taskmaster. Saturn is here to point out those difficult things that you know, those tendencies or those patterns that you rely on, that you tend to go to, and challenges you to conquer them in a way. Maybe conquer is not the word. Challenges you to play your cards differently, to handle the situation in a different way. You know what I mean? So if you have a tendency to, like I said, bottle up your feelings, bottle up your sensibilities and asserting yourself and not really speak on your own behalf, if you have done that in your relationship with your parents all your life, and here you are 45 years old, not getting the equilibrium, not getting the fair balance or the fair shake that you deserve as an adult with other adults, regardless of whether they're your parents or not, speak up for yourself. This is the time. You want to end that cycle. You want to end that chapter or that facet of your life that sees you stuff away your feelings and your words for the sake of your parents, right? So do that, and I'm just here, some anonymous woman on YouTube talking to you, so my point in saying that is it's easier said than done. I'm not living that experience. This is not my life. This is your life. So it's easier said than done, but due to the fact that that's the World card, again, associated with Saturn, associated with karma, associated with, those certain endings and transitions in our lives, this is your challenge to rewrite the book chapters of your life, to rewrite your character, your position as the protagonist in your own book. You know what I mean? And one day, on May the 28th, Cancer woke up feeling da-da-da-da-da. And then from there, you can write about how you just had this awakening, or you had this epiphany, you had this realization, or something in your day, something that one of your parents says, or your partner, or your child, or whoever says, kind of snaps you out of this position of, I'm just going to eat my words. Instead of eating your words, you're going to express your words. Or if you talk too damn much, pull it back. If you give too much of yourself, and if you're too loving or you're too effusive with people and they squander your love, they squander your affection, or they don't return it, or they take it and they don't say please and thank you, whatever, rein it in. Whatever you need to do, the world card is challenging you to do it. It's also here to indicate that when it comes to this, that imbalance in equilibrium and this petty, kind of spiteful, but really it's weird. I don't like that. That is what's going to rectify this whole situation. Changing over that page in your book, ending that chapter, right? Challenging those patterns that Saturn is highlighting to you, okay? Outcome for mid-May, Cancer. You have the Hermit card. So this is the card, Major Arcana card for Virgo. So you might have a Virgo in your life, but you know the spiel. You don't have to. It's not important. It's really more about the energy. And so this is, as an outcome, I think is, for some of you, pointing directly to therapy. The Hermit, sometimes the High Priestess. Both of these cards are, to me, usually, when I receive them, like when I interact with them, I feel it's in the form of another person. Again, does not have to be a Virgo. So I feel that some of you are seeking therapy, seeking counsel, seeking advice from someone else. Doesn't have to be a therapist, right? But there's this idea of, there's a facilitator, there's somebody in your life or someone that you will meet who can help you process all of this. Because especially in a family dynamic or any situation, really, any relationship, it doesn't matter. This is not easy because, like I said, from the top, you're dealing with other people. This isn't just Cancer's business. This is Cancer plus that person, plus that person, that plus that person, or this is Cancer plus, every man you've ever dated in your life. You see a pattern in your relationships, whatever. So this is a heavy load to carry for one person. That's why I feel the Hermit is definitely an external energy, best friend, counselor, an old colleague of yours who, was with you when you went through your divorce 5 years ago, whatever. It's someone who you can trust, but it's also somebody who has such an outside perspective, such an objective perspective, or an ability to kind of highlight to you where things on your end and other people's ends need to be worked on or need to be paid attention to, because that's the purpose of the Hermit carrying that lantern. I'm going to shine the light over here in this dark corner, and whatever you see, whatever monster that's been tucked away, whatever ugly, nasty part of your history, of your memories, of your experiences in life that you've tucked away, I'm going to show it to you, and we're going to talk about it, or we're going to work on it, So again, that is, arguably most easily identified through a therapist. So that's why I'm getting, for a good portion of you, therapist, counselor, or someone in a professional capacity that has some type of study, some type of understanding of psychological, psychiatric, or just, human conditioning, right? For others of you, you will get by with your best friend, your old friend from college, your second cousin who lives in another state and isn't involved in the family drama, hasn't been for over a decade, and so they have a more removed perspective. But for a lot of you, this is a professional person with degrees and understanding, and if it's not that, I would say, for those who aren't into that, it would just be someone that you trust in the esoteric world, okay? A tarot reader, a psychic, a medium. For some of you, it's a matter of you want to clear your chakras and all that stuff, so that'd be a Reiki master, all that kind of stuff. But the purpose of this coming out is your outcome is to show you have work to be done. I said it here. None of this is like, remember when I picked this up and I bent that card? You haven't reached the pinnacle point of letting it go. You are about to start working on it. Or if you're not, I would advise that you do. All right? You don't have to. You can do whatever you want. It's your life. And if you continue in this cycle, I would say you're a glutton for punishment. Truly. If you continue with all this shit, and I don't know why I have to highlight this to somebody, but if you continue with all this, you're a glutton for punishment. Okay? You're a glutton for being unfulfilled, for being dissatisfied, for being hurt. You are conditioned to think that's what you deserve for whatever reason. Maybe because you're daunted by the work ahead, maybe because you don't value yourself or you don't have self-esteem, but let me tell you something. If you stay on this train, which you can, this train runs in a circle, baby. It's not going anywhere. If you stay on there, that's your own doing. I got to put the boot up somebody's butt right now. But that's what I feel here. And if it's not you, again, it's the other person. So some of you are on that train, some of you are not. Now, your overall, wow, look at all these majors. Your overall is the Judgment card. Secondary major arcana card for Scorpio. So again, you might be dealing with a Scorpio, but you don't have to be. So Judgment, hello. Make that judgment call. What are you going to do? Are you going to stay lying in the coffin, buried in the ground? Or are you going to be woken up? Are you going to be revitalized? Are you going to become reanimated and get sort of pulled out from the ground? A lot of you are like in this dormant, this is what my life is, and you just accept these conditions. You accept these circumstances. You accept these connections and all their haphazard energy exchange, okay? Others of you will wake up to and make a judgment call on your own life or your own involvement in certain aspects of your life. I'm not going to continue on that train, Jay. Good for you. Don't do it. Others of you, you're going to stay in the ground. It's your choice. You can go either way, But the idea is with the judgment card, additionally, not only, the whole calling up the dead and becoming reanimated, it's this idea of making a judgment call. Left or right, up or down, A or B. You know what I mean? And kind of having that judgment come from a place of perspective, from a place of having not learned something, but realized something, like I may have said earlier, an epiphany, an awakening, right? So once we are awakened, once we have new insight, once we have a little bit of clarity, or we feel a call to be pulled or pushed in another direction, or to jump, run, drive in a totally new direction, we have made that judgment call. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense, okay? Now behind it, I don't normally talk about the cards behind, but you have the Temperance card there. So you have a lot of cards. First of all, technically you have 3 majors, but that popped up there, so I'm going to roll it into this. That Temperance being there, and you had the 2 Pisces card, the Moon and the Hangman. You have a lot of divine oversight going on in your life right now, Cancer. So for those who are into the astrology, look at your astrology, look at your chart, figure out what's going on. There might be some of that influence there. And if you're not into the astrology side, pray to your God, pray to your Lord, do what you need to do from a spiritual side of things, right? But I feel that there is influence here. Again, with that World card, Saturn, karma, something is here for you to learn. Something is here to facilitate your growth. And the Temperance card, not necessarily the most spiritual card, but associated with Sagittarius, we're talking about healing through balance, where you were imbalanced before with that 6 of Pentacles. This Temperance card, I might as well pick it up and show it to you, so I'm going to talk about it, right? Is showing that this angel is practicing alchemy, is practicing in the ways of finding balance and healing. And again, it's not a process that happens overnight. The Hermit card, that's a slow process. If you see a therapist, it's not a one and done session. If you go and talk to your friend over a bottle of wine, that's not a one and done. You're probably going to see them again, you know, over the next couple of months. Like, oh, let me update you on the relationship, because when I went home and I said the things that you and I said I should say to him, he said this. So now what should I do? Like, there's a constant working at it. So that Temperance card is here to indicate that too. There's a constant working at it. It's a fine balance that you have to strike. There is a fine mixing and matching of energies. You don't want to be too watery. You don't want to be too fiery. You don't want to be too insistent, but you don't want to be a pushover either. And it's just having to find that happy middle ground that works for you. That's the key part here, Cancer, what works for you. Because, or whoever's, I feel it's mostly Cancer, because it's your reading, you know? So regardless of how you're here, if you're doing too much or doing too little, I don't know, and I don't care necessarily. But the point of the matter is, how are you going to find the balance for your life? How are you going to find that healing and that insight for your life? Okay? That's what I would hope you would take away from this, okay? Cancer, that is your mid-May reading. Interesting. Guys are going through some stuff, huh? If you liked it, if you found something that resonated with you here, go ahead and hit the like button for me. You can also leave a comment below. I love to read those things. And I do usually respond or give you a little heart if I have not much to add to your comment. It's just like, oh, okay, cool, thanks. You can also share this video across your social media platforms. Doing all of those things will help my channel grow and continue to grow, so I appreciate that. And of course, you can subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Whether you're a new viewer or you're a returning viewer, I'd love to have you. It's a semi commitment that I ask. I just provide the free content. All you gotta do is hit the subscribe button, guys, okay? Cancer, I will be back soon with your June 2019 readings. I might do a random, it hasn't hit me. The randoms are really only, for me, my intention is only to be when I'm inspired. But I'm not inspired, but I would hope I am soon. But, so you have those two things to look forward to, okay? Alright guys, I thank you so much for watching this video. Take care. Bye.